Gentle viewers, when a certain lady has a dream about a certain duke, you can be sure that she has fallen under his spell. This evening, we, the Sisters Sanditon, will discuss all the juicy details with you as they unfold in this episode 3 of Bridgerton.
Yes, and that is just how this episode begins. Juicy.
I say, yes. Daphne is dancing with the Duke in a most intimate manner. There are guests, and then the guests all disappear, and we see that they are right about to kiss. He's taken off her glove in a very intimate thing.
That's right.
To remove a lady's glove, and right as they are about to kiss, very romantically, she wakes up. And we understand, and I thought to myself, this got to be a dream, there's no way.
Yes.
And yes, it
I
was.
The same. This is a dream, it's all a dream.
It was a dream, a happy dream, but Daphne wakes up breathless, and she is...
And didn't you say something about the viewers said something about the dream?
Yes, and I think many of the viewers of Bridgerton think that at that point is when they realized she was in love with Simon. When she had a dream about him. I mean, yes, if you're dreaming about him, and a romantic dream?
Yes. She's got it bad.
She's got it, yes.
Well, Lady Whistledown says that Daphne has turned down 3 proposals already and is waiting for the greater price.
I don't understand. How could she turn down 3 proposals when that was supposed to be the goal, to get proposals? And she's turned down the proposals.
Because she wants the Duke.
But the Duke is not going to marry. He's already told her that.
But the girl can dream. She thinks she can get him to do it. I mean... Isn't that like a lot of relationships we see? She thinks she'll get him to come round.
You're right. We always expect that we'll get the man to change. Well, that we will be the one to do it.
Exactly. That's right. Well, they show him licking his spoon in a most enticing and sensual way. And Daphne is across from him practically salivating.
And she's not drooling at the macarons.
Correct, dear.
Yes.
They flirt a bit, and she calls him her general.
Yes, as he's like rallying the troops.
He says, remember, I'm handsome too. You don't say.
Yes, something that
she's looking as though...
She wishes she could forget.
Yes, that's right.
No one can forget how handsome he is.
No.
Please.
No.
I think
that is a face that will not be easily forgotten.
And doesn't he know it? What's that film? Hail, Pride and Prejudice. From the 40s.
Oh.
Yes, now, another young woman who wishes that she could forget a young man is Marina. She cannot forget him, though. She's locked in her room, she's hidden away, and she's pining for a letter from her young man who is off fighting somewhere.
There is no letter.
There is no letter. And so Mrs. Featherington has said, you will return into society. She goes and gets her fitted for some new gowns in the family colours. Lucky her. And
Modiste noticed she's put on a little weight.
Yes. Oh, perhaps they must have measured wrong.
Yes.
No, she didn't measure wrong. Too much cake. Yeah, she'll lay off the cake, all right. Anyway.
She's going to get her married off,
She's going to get her married off
and
to any old
worried.
man that can have it. Yes,
what
Marina
if
is
the
quite
lover
worried.
Never does write back.
Yes.
Maybe he's chosen
She wanted
not
to marry him, but as soon as she told him about the child, she's worried that he won't marry her.
Yes. Well, speaking of marriage, back at Bridgerton House, Daphne's mother says, you must marry the man who feels like he's your dearest friend.
Yes.
If only it were that simple.
Yes, and Daphne, I think, knows that is probably Simon at this point. He is her friend.
That's right. And at yet another ball. Another ball, ladies.
Yes.
We see more flirting, we see laughing, and they're making fun of others.
Yes.
All of this with a friend.
Yes, and one of the songs we have to comment on, I noticed right away, was Bad Guy from Billie Eilish.
Let me tell you, I did not notice that. I was on a walk with my 2 children yesterday, and I played them the entire Bridgerton soundtrack. They knew every song, who it was by. I said, where did you 2 learn all of it? And they said, everybody knows that, Mom. What are you, living under a rock?
No, just living in period drama. Look at us.
To say, well, perhaps.
Living in the world of Bridgerton and Sanditon.
The Regency era.
Yes. Oh, dear.
But anyway, I thought that was very funny. And yes, I liked the usage of the different
I thought it was very clever because it is such a modern retelling of a period drama.
Right. That it didn't seem out of place because it fit with everything else.
And it was jaunty. It fit. I liked it.
And so we see Daphne going through several dances with young men who are quite bores.
Absolute
bores.
And
I could not help but be reminded of Esther from Meet Me in St. Louis when she's at the ball and she's dancing with the big tall one and then the little short one and the little skinny one and the little fat one and the greasy one.
Dance. Yes.
And her hair's
And
fluffing
she's just-
everywhere.
oh, yes.
She's over it.
Stepping on her feet. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
so
And
I'm
you can
not-
see that, we're thinking, oh, some men are coming into the scene for Daphne.
Yes, but no, she keeps looking at the Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Danbury says, Daphne and the Duke are a love match, right?
Yes.
But he must actually propose.
Yes, Bridgerton.
And
Miss
therein
Lady
lies
Bridgerton
the problem.
says, yeah, you've got to get him to propose, yes.
Which is
well,
true.
enter the Prussian prince. Oh, what a dish he was.
I liked him.
Quite adorable.
Not one to
I
turn your nose up at, if I should say.
No, I thought he was very handsome and charming.
Did I?
Well, Daphne and the Duke are watching him as he walks in. I'm using my fan too much, sorry.
Yes, Daphne, put it down.
Daphne and the Duke are watching him, and they're making fun of him because they say, oh, he's going to compliment her dress, and she's going to bat her eyelashes.
They're
and,
having this cute little dating moment
yes,
again.
Yes, where they're together against the world sort of thing, you know, and she
inside
comes
jokes and all that.
Yes, inside jokes, and so, you know, all the mamas are vying for their daughter to get pushed up front.
Right.
Well, the queen escorts the prince, the queen who has donned the most amazing wig, the biggest wig we've ever seen, and it is so spectacular.
Off to the hair and makeup department.
Yes.
Incredible.
I heard
if it doesn't win awards.
Oh, yes.
It's a
I heard
blooming shame.
It's a crying shame. I heard that it took 7 wigs to make just that one wig. And I don't know how she walked in it. She
pulled
walked
it off
effortless.
flawlessly.
Yes, effortless. Anyway, it was amazing. And so she brings the prince over. And this is the woman I was telling you about. The incomparable, the diamond, you know, the you know, she is the most, you know, sought after woman.
That's right.
And, you know, the prince compliments her gown. And she laughs because they had just been talking about.
Yes.
And she snorts. What?
I thought it was dumb.
Well, number one,
it was dumb.
It was ridiculous. Number one, that she laughed at the prince.
Yes.
Can you imagine laughing at the prince?
No.
But she did snort, and it was not very attractive.
I didn't like it.
Well, I mean, think about if you were to snort. I think I've done it on a couple of occasions, and it's only ever been, I believe, in front of my husband, who I was
someone you
so
felt
comfortable with.
So maybe it was supposed to show that.
Maybe she was just she was thinking of that joke with Simon, and she turns to him and she says, "It's all your fault.
Yeah,
you made me do it
with them, but
he
I
has
could
a
have done
joke
without the snort.
Well,
didn't work for me.
It was a little bit.
Meanwhile, at the modiste, Sienna comes by, and we hear that Madame Delacroix does actually not, in fact, have a French accent, as we believed, and her Cockney comes out.
Bloody Elsie, you scared me half a fright. You scared me half to death. I don't know what she said.
Yes, you do that quite well, dear. You've been holding out on me, I guess.
Yes, and we just see that she's not who she thought she was. Which actually, I have to be honest and admit, ladies, I did not. I did not pick up on that.
I did not notice that.
I didn't notice.
Sienna is going to find herself another gentleman to take care of her, right?
Yes.
So she goes to the club, and she tries to entice the Duke, of all people. Maybe she can get him to come to her boudoir after her performance.
He seems quite interested.
And he sure does.
Yes. Well, also at the club, Anthony is there, and he had been talking to Simon, and, you know, saying, like, what are your intentions? And he's like, they're respectable. And respectful, excuse me.
Yes.
And he's like, well, your views on marriage have not changed. And he's like, not that I'm aware of, but, you know, my thoughts are respectable towards it. Well, what is that supposed to mean, and how is that okay?
Yeah.
I thought that the whole problem is that he wasn't going to marry her.
Right.
He's not going to get married.
Like,
so
if
why
you're not
going
to marry the girl, why are you wasting your time and flirting with her and doing things? That's not respectable, right? Isn't that what that was? In all movies, they said, what are your intentions, right? The father wants to know what the young man's intentions are, not just to fool with her. So that didn't make sense.
So I don't know why Anthony was like, okay, we're friends. Yeah, well,
no,
that was odd.
Didn't get that.
Yes, well, back at the Bridgerton residence.
Yes.
Bridgerton residence.
Yes.
Try saying that 5 times fast in a British accent. Daphne cannot sleep.
I wonder why.
I wonder what may be occupying her thoughts or her dreams. A certain devilishly handsome Duke,
Something occupying many of us.
Yes, perhaps. You told me you couldn't sleep last night, dear sister. Now, yes. So she meets Anthony on the staircase, and what are you doing? She can't sleep. And so they go, well, will you join me? And so they have a little moment together.
Warm milk together.
Yes.
But this was funny. They start staring at the stove, and I think, what are they doing? And then you realize they don't know how to
turn it on.
Which was actually very comical.
It was
very
funny.
Cute. Okay, we'll have cold milk.
Cold milk it is. Yes.
Yes. So Anthony tells Simon.
She's sort of asking, what is the Duke's deal? Sort of, you know, like
because she wants to know more about him. She's interested in him,
probably.
Right? And so Anthony tells her, well, Simon's had a rough life. He didn't have a good family life, no mother.
Yes.
Some people say you know, some people just aren't meant to be together. He tells
And so
her.
she's like,
So forget about
okay.
it, basically.
But she's not going to forget about him. No, she's not giving up. No. The next scene, as we see guests flooding into Somerset House, which is the Queen's residence.
Yes.
They've opened a new wing for viewing.
That's right.
So everyone is excited. Everyone's there. The whole family, all the
Yes.
Bridgertons, the children, everyone.
Once again, beautiful locations.
Beautiful.
Over the top.
They show the whole room just covered in portraits.
Yeah.
Like wallpaper without an inch between them. It was really spectacular.
Daphne's looking for the Duke, right?
Yes. All the ladies are flocked to the prince.
Yeah.
They all want to catch themselves a prince. Cressida has been studying, you know, Austrian or German or whatever they speak over there. Sorry,
but the prince comes to Daphne, doesn't he?
The prince seeks out Daphne.
And
He leaves all the other ladies. Yeah, he seeks her out. Miss Bridgerton, you know, how are you today? She's like...
so sweet, by the way. Have we said that?
Very sweet.
I like the prince.
I agree. I think he's very handsome.
I'd have taken the prince and the £1 million a year and run.
Yes. I mean, like you said, she's in love with the Duke. So she's looking for the Duke as she is supposed to be conversing, and he's kind of like, what's over my shoulder? It's so obvious, so disrespectful to him,
rude.
who has come to speak. Yes, and so, you know, she's kind of, oh, yes, thank you. And then she's like, well, when she sees him go by, once she sees the Duke go by in the background, she's like, well, I'm sure there's plenty of other young ladies vying for your attention. Thank you. Goodbye.
But now think about you and your young love. If you were talking to someone you thought, you know, you weren't interested in, and then you saw the hot guy walk by,
but
you'd be like, gotta go, see ya.
But the prince likes her.
You would,
He's
you
a
know
prince.
it.
Oh,
so Daphne finds Simon, and they share this moment. This was one of my favorite moments of the whole series. Gazing at this picture, which was his mother's favorite, right? And Daphne describes the beauty of it so perfectly that they share this connection. He's like, wow, she's deep.
You know what they say about men marry women like their mothers. That's the first thing I thought.
I thought the same thing.
That's the first thing I thought was, you know, she's appreciating it the way his mother probably appreciated it. And she says, when I see it, I feel free.
Yes.
And it's, you know, and she said it's intimate.
Yes. And then he sees the depth in her. And now they're sharing this connection of the mother as well.
Yes.
See, like he's sharing this moment with her.
Yes.
And then their hands.
And they share an intimate moment.
To touch.
And you just see the picture of their hands,
hand.
and she starts, but what do we get interrupted by? Yes, but it's so beautiful. They do hold hands for a brief moment.
Just for a moment.
She kind of gets in there, and then he takes hers, not just her. And you're just like, oh, and then they kind of look at each other.
Yeah. And then
Cressida
has to go and ruin it all.
Cressida faints.
Yes.
And the prince catches her. And of course, Lady Whistledown says there's quite an art to fainting. Yeah. And she has got it down, apparently.
She does. She does.
Cressida,
she fainted at the right time.
Yes. She knows what she wants, and she's trying to get it.
Yes, she does.
That old giraffe neck.
Simon sets off home, doesn't he?
Yes.
And he's going to...
He's ready to go home, and his footman, or whoever opens the door for him, says, we better make haste if we're going to make it to the opera. We're still going.
And you remember, in your brain, you remember, wait a minute, Sienna
had asked him to go and pay her a call after...
Which we know what that means.
Yes.
Pay her a call. Oh, dear. Can we say that?
I don't know.
Oh, dear.
So anyway, apparently he had already told the footman that they would be going.
That's right.
Are we still going? He said, basically. And what does Simon say? I think not tonight. We're going to go straight home. And it just makes you think, after that, you know, after the moment they shared, he's thinking, maybe I'm going to go for her. Yes.
I don't want this.
So we already see him reforming his ways, just like, sort of like the typical Austen hero.
Yes.
He sort of reforms his ways.
Just like Sydney. That's right,
just as Sydney did. He's already saying,
right.
I want to change who I am, because he's falling for her.
I totally agree. Yes, they're forming an attachment. And, you know, we really get to see their relationship unfold.
Yes.
And they even talk about marrying your dearest friend, right?
Yes. Yes. They're talking the next day or whenever it is. They're out at some park or something.
Yes.
And he starts, she's telling him that Mama says you should marry your dearest friend, and I'm not really sure what else I'm supposed to be looking for, and there are more things to a marriage, right? Intangible and tangible and physical. And he goes, well, yes, there is, and I think she knows, obviously, probably from his last comments and other things, and that he's 5 minutes alone with you and all that.
Right.
That maybe he knows more than she does.
Right,
obviously, she knows he's a rake and her brother, and all that. And so she goes, well, will you tell me? No one else will tell me. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what is a relationship, what is a marriage. And Simon starts to explain some things to her, and they're quite inappropriate. It all goes wrong. And we shall not even grace that topic with a discussion.
I agree.
It
I
was
agree completely. It
completely
was so
off-color.
out of place
No.
and anachronistic. To me, it was like if a green Martian would have walked into the ballroom. That's how bad it was.
Yes.
Now,
Shocking.
I know that this entire, piece is made of anachronistic moments and things that don't fit and things that are a little off of the time period, but this was too much. It was ridiculous.
I don't
like
recall.
I said, it was like a Martian walking in.
I don't recall any other shows ever talking about that
No.
in such a way.
No.
Such a way.
And even my husband, as he was sitting there, I mean, he was just like, I'm done. Like, he's like,
No.
this is silly. Not because he was so offended. I mean, he was offended, but it was more because he's like, this is silly.
What is it for?
This is a joke.
It's
Is this real?
Yes. For the sake of shock,
Like,
I
is this
don't
supposed
know.
to be real life?
Like he was supposed to be teaching her about the ways of the world.
Silly. Moving on from
Moving
that
on.
distasteful subject, Lady Danbury tells Simon he either needs to propose,
Yes.
step up and
up
marry the
and
girl, or
propose.
step aside.
Because she
and
has
let
a
her have
prince.
the prince.
Yes.
That's right. You're going to make her lose out on something really
Yes.
good here.
Lady
and he
Danbury
realizes
cares
she's
about
right.
her too. Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? She's right. And so he lets her down, and not in a nice way.
No.
But he feels he has to do that. You know what I mean? In order to push her away. We've seen that
and
in
he
other
starts.
movies, too.
She's going to meet him, and she's all excited. What should we have? Maybe we should try someplace new.
Yeah.
The ices are good here, but
Yeah.
she's
he
like,
knows.
"What's wrong?" And he's just.
And I think he knows she's falling for him. I think later they try to act like he doesn't, but he does.
I don't see how.
Which is why she's so hurt.
Well, yes. So Simon says, he says, you now have a bevy of suitors. This is what you wanted. My job is done. I'm done. I'm not going to meet you today, nor the next day, nor any day.
Yeah.
You now have all these suitors, including a prince, right? And
lets her have it. He lets her down
and
hard.
she's like, "Well, I thought we were friends." And he goes, "We were never friends. We're not friends, and we never were. You were a diversion, a pretty diversion. But
Yes.
that is all.
Yes.
You'll be very happy with your new prince." And he's
right.
so cold.
And she runs home in tears, doesn't she?
Yes, and I think probably this is where she starts to believe, well, he really doesn't care for me at all. I guess I was just
That's right.
a diversion, like he
That's
said.
right, yes.
But obviously, when we are watching it, the reason he is so cold is because he does care for her,
Right,
and he
he's
is
got
forcing himself
right,
to put her aside and to cast her away.
Exactly. Yes, you've hit the nail right on the head
Well,
there.
with my usual, that's right.
With your usual acuteness. What's that
What's
from?
that from?
Jane Eyre.
With your usual cuteness,
Jane,
you
you've
nailed
hit
it
it.
directly on.
We apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot help ourselves. It's from Jane Eyre.
Yes,
dear.
you're
The
right.
one with
Rochester.
Timothy Dalton.
The one with Timothy Dalton. Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
Back on track. Back on track.
Sorry.
Meanwhile, at the Featherington abode, Marina has at last received a letter from her love, who has disavowed her.
Yes.
Right?
Claims he
so
never
she
knew her.
accepts that all is lost, and she's screaming and crying. But what do
The
we
screams
cut to?
echo into Lady Featherington's
That's
room.
right. She actually wrote the letter herself.
Our plan has worked. And at that
I was
moment,
shocked. I
me
went,
too. I said,
oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Because we all thought, her
He was a
lover's going to,
rake.
yes, he
Yeah,
doesn't care about her.
jerk.
As soon as she told him she was with child,
knocked
he
her up
dumped
and
her.
left her.
Yes.
Yep. But
That was
no,
crazy.
Not so. We don't know still what the case is.
No.
But we know that
But we know
that
that
letter was false.
Lady Featherington now has her way. Marina's done with her man because he's done with her.
Yes.
She's now going to be able to get her to be married off to somebody,
That's right.
Yeah, so her mama is, Anyway, another mama who is also at work is Lady Bridgerton.
Yes.
And she's still putting Anthony in his place, saying, Anthony, I have a, list of eligible young ladies for you. And,
That's right.
what time is it, dear? And you're looking at your father's pocket watch. Father, she's talking about him.
Yeah.
Time is ticking. What are we waiting for?
Yeah.
You know,
he
and
never
he's
does
just
anything
like-
with it. He
It
never
never
does.
comes to anything.
No.
She points out a few ladies here
And
and
at
there.
balls, she introduces him to people, and
But-
he'll have none of it.
He doesn't.
But he's a man, dear. That's why.
He doesn't have
Nobody
to
has
do what she
That's
tells him.
right. And so Daphne now decides to go out and catch herself a prince.
Yes.
She's like, okay, I'm done. The Duke doesn't want me. I'm going to make my move on the prince. She
Yes.
dons her finest silver gown.
Yes.
She comes to the
let
balcony
me
like
let
a
me say
queen.
let me say that gown was the most exquisite, just up my alley. It was like it had like glitter in it. It was
And
like
isn't
white
that
with
what you
silver
do
glitter.
when the man has spurned you?
Yes.
You say, I'm going to look darn good
Yes.
tonight. I'm going to get dressed up and I'm going to just
Get
knock
dressed to the
everybody
nines
dead.
and get yourself a new
And it
guy.
makes you go get your
Yes.
hair done, right?
Yes.
You get your nails done.
Yes, and she
And-
said, "If this is what everyone wants, I'm going to give it to them."
Yeah, I thought that
And
was
she, yes,
great.
and she
the-
does look like a queen.
She
Absolutely
does.
gorgeous. Her
She
hair
does.
is all cascading down in curls.
Yes, and the prince, of course, flies to her side,
Oh.
and the Duke looks on miserable. Well, good for him.
All eyes are on them.
Yes.
And the prince is just like,
And Daphne
Miss Bridgerton.
here does the little coy drop of her fan.
Yes, she
so
has
that
a
the
bit-
prince must pick it up for her. And I'm sorry, but this part reminded me of what's the show where she dropped The bend and snap.
Bend
The
and
bend.
snap.
You do this and the bend.
From Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Bend and snap.
No, it wasn't the same thing, but it reminded me of it just the same. And so she knows what she's doing.
And
She's got her little move down.
Yes, and the whole assembly there can see.
That was fun.
She knows what she's doing.
And the
Queen.
prince is a goner.
Oh, he's done. He is a goner.
He's ready to propose. Get out the diamond ring.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
He hands her a fan, Miss Bridget, right? Okay.
Yes.
And the queen looks so triumphant. She's all,
Yes.
because this is what she wanted.
This is what she wanted.
And as Lady Whistledown weighs in, saying, "Why settle for a duke when one can have a prince?" Which is
amen
what
to that.
I was thinking the same thing. Indeed, yes, indeed. We shall see how this love triangle unfolds. Will Simon leave England, having given up London's incomparable? Will Daphne get her prince? Join us next time on the Sisters Sanditon. Please subscribe, like, comment, tweet, and follow us on Facebook.
We hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Remember this. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I look just like Anastasia, Drizella, whoever the stepsister is.
Well, that's the whole point, dear.
Yes.
That's how they're supposed to look.
Yes.
They're supposed
Gaudy.
to look gaudy.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's
wait.
perfect. Now listen, I don't see what's wrong with the prince. He may not have a six-pack, but he's got six figures.
Well, how do we know he doesn't have a six-pack? He hasn't taken off his shirt yet, has he?
True.
I would pay to see that. Do you know I sang for him once? The actor, Freddie Stromer.
No.
In Los Angeles, I sang for him
That
once at an audition.
Gorgeous
He was
blonde
there.
guy.
Yes.
Oh, you fool. Why didn't you go into
I wasn't blonde, it was Cinderella. It was a panto. It was a panto of Cinderella. And I auditioned for it. And they said they
No,
were
I'm
doing...
saying he's blonde, not you, you...
Cinderella was supposed to be blonde. That's why I didn't get the part, dear.
Oh.
Otherwise, I could have been his Cinderella. He was the prince.
No.
I'm not joking. I'm being serious. I auditioned for him. It was a panto in Los Angeles, and he was going to be the prince. And I auditioned for Cinderella. They said they were going with non-traditional casting. Ha! Of course they picked a blonde.
Oh, dear. That's
I should have
so
worn a wig.
Sad.
Yes.
He may have proposed to you.
I sang for him.
Oh.
I shall always remember it with fondness, even though he probably never even knew who I was.
No.